as the sun rose over Lake Texcoco and its light spread gently across canals, causeways, and floating gardens, the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan awakened like a carefully choreographed stage where thousands of ordinary actions combined to create one of the most vibrant urban worlds in the ancient Americas. From stone homes clustered along canals to larger compounds near temples and markets, daily life unfolded with steady rhythm, shaped by tradition, obligation, and an understanding that each person played a role within a much larger living system. Families typically began their mornings early because the Aztecs believed that discipline and routine honored both the gods and the community, encouraging children and adults alike to greet the day with purpose rather than delay. Homes, often built from stone or adobe with flat roofs, centered around shared spaces where cooking, crafting, and storytelling blended naturally, turning everyday survival into collective effort rather than solitary struggle. Women managed much of the household economy, grinding maize on stone metates, preparing tortillas, stews, and drinks, while also producing textiles that reflected skill, patience, and regional identity. Men often worked outside the home as farmers, builders, traders, or craftsmen, yet their roles remained deeply tied to family responsibilities and religious expectations rather than individual ambition. Children learned by watching and helping, absorbing skills gradually as they fetched water, cared for siblings, or assisted with food preparation, turning learning into lived experience instead of formal instruction. Education held great importance because every child attended school, with boys typically training for warfare, leadership, or specialized trades, while girls learned domestic skills alongside moral teachings that emphasized respect and balance. Schools reinforced values through stories, songs, and discipline, shaping behavior as much as knowledge and reminding students that personal conduct reflected family and community honor. Food formed the center of daily life because meals connected households to land, labor, and ritual in ways that went far beyond simple nourishment. Maize dominated Aztec diets, appearing as tortillas, tamales, and porridges supported by beans, squash, chilies, and occasional meat, creating meals that balanced nutrition with tradition. Chinampas, the famous floating gardens, produced astonishing harvests by transforming shallow lake beds into fertile rectangles that fed the city efficiently and sustainably. Farmers tended these plots with careful timing, using canals for irrigation and transportation, proving that urban life and agriculture could coexist harmoniously. Markets provided another essential rhythm, especially the vast marketplace of Tlatelolco, where thousands gathered daily to exchange goods, news, and opinions under official supervision. Traders offered everything from food and pottery to feathers, obsidian tools, and cacao beans, which also served as a form of currency. Market officials enforced fair pricing and honest trade, reflecting a strong belief that order and trust protected the community. Sound filled these spaces as sellers advertised goods, buyers bargained thoughtfully, and messengers carried announcements that connected commerce with governance. Clothing reflected status and role, with simple garments for commoners and elaborately decorated outfits reserved for nobles and warriors. Cotton fabrics, bright dyes, and featherwork turned clothing into visual language that communicated identity instantly. Personal appearance mattered deeply because presentation showed respect for oneself, family, and gods. Bathing was common, often using steam baths known as temazcals, which cleaned bodies while promoting health and relaxation. Hygiene practices impressed later visitors, revealing cultural values that linked cleanliness with balance. Religion shaped every aspect of daily life, not as distant belief, but as constant presence guiding choices and routines. Household altars honored family deities, offering incense, food, and prayers as part of daily obligations. Larger temples dominated city centers, reminding residents that divine forces required regular attention and cooperation. Festivals punctuated the calendar, bringing music, dance, costumes, and ritual into public spaces. These events celebrated agricultural cycles, victories, and cosmic renewal, reinforcing shared identity through spectacle. Work paused during major festivals, allowing communities to gather and participate fully. Music filled streets during these moments, with drums, flutes, and chanting echoing across water and stone. Artisans played key roles in society, producing metalwork, carvings, and ceremonial objects that blended skill with symbolism. Featherworkers achieved particular fame, transforming delicate materials into artworks associated with power and beauty. These crafts required long apprenticeships, passing knowledge carefully through generations. Leisure existed alongside labor, often appearing in games, storytelling, and communal gatherings. The ballgame, though ritualized, also served as entertainment, teaching teamwork and resilience. Stories shared in the evenings connected children to ancestors, reinforcing moral lessons through memorable narratives. Social structure remained clear, dividing nobles, commoners, merchants, and enslaved people, yet mobility remained possible through achievement, especially in warfare. Warriors gained honor through captured enemies rather than destruction, emphasizing skill and bravery over chaos. This emphasis shaped training and values across society. Punishments existed but focused on restoring order rather than revenge. Law courts operated regularly, handling disputes and maintaining stability. Justice reinforced trust in governance. Urban planning supported daily efficiency with causeways, canals, and neighborhoods designed for movement and cooperation. Canoes functioned like city transport, gliding between homes, markets, and temples. Tenochtitlan felt alive with motion. Despite dense population, organization reduced conflict. Nature remained close, visible in birds, water, and gardens. Aztec life blended city and environment seamlessly. Everyday routines reinforced resilience. People understood their responsibilities clearly. Community outweighed individual desire. Yet humor and warmth softened structure. Laughter appeared during festivals. Friendship flourished in markets. Families supported one another. Daily life therefore balanced discipline with joy. As the sun set and lamps flickered across canals and rooftops, Aztec households reflected quietly on completed tasks and shared meals, setting the stage for understanding how belief, power, and ceremony further shaped this world beyond ordinary routines, waiting just ahead in the unfolding story. As night settled more firmly over Tenochtitlan and the city's reflections shimmered across canals and like water, daily life did not abruptly stop, but instead shifted tone, allowing quieter routines, reflection, and storytelling to balance the city's earlier energy. Families gathered indoors or on rooftops, where cooler air encouraged conversation about work completed, plans for coming days, and lessons learned through small successes or mistakes that shaped character over time. Elders played an especially important role during these hours because memory, experience, and oral tradition carried authority equal to formal power within Aztec society. Through carefully chosen stories, elders explained how proper behavior protected family honor, community stability, and cosmic balance, transforming history into guidance rather than distant record. Children listened closely, understanding that attention signaled respect and that learning never truly ended with daylight or formal schooling. Religion continued to frame these moments because prayers, offerings, and quiet reflection reminded households that unseen forces remained active even while the city rested. Calendars guided not only festivals and farming, but also daily expectations, ensuring that responsibilities aligned with cosmic timing rather than random choice. This awareness gave people confidence that their actions mattered beyond immediate results. Craftsmen often used evening hours to refine skills, repair tools, or teach apprentices techniques requiring patience rather than physical strength. Art therefore grew slowly, shaped by repetition and careful correction rather than rushed production. Merchants reviewed trade plans, discussed routes, and evaluated risks using shared knowledge gained through experience rather than written contracts. Such conversations reinforced trust networks that extended across regions and generations. Warriors reflected on training and discipline, aware that preparation demanded steady effort long before conflict ever appeared. Their identity combined physical readiness with moral expectation because bravery without restraint threatened order rather than defending it. Women evaluated household supplies, planned upcoming meals, and organized textiles, ensuring that resources met family needs efficiently. These quiet managerial roles maintained stability more reliably than dramatic gestures. The city's infrastructure supported this rhythm by providing security through organized patrols and well-maintained causeways. Street lighting using torches near major areas discouraged disorder and demonstrated civic responsibility. Waterways remained calm, yet movement continued as late traders or messengers passed silently in canoes. Temples towered above neighborhoods, their presence constant even in darkness, reinforcing spiritual continuity. Priests prepared for upcoming ceremonies by studying calendars, organizing offerings, and coordinating participants. Preparation mattered as much as performance. These unseen efforts ensured rituals unfolded smoothly, reinforcing collective confidence. Festivals required weeks of planning involving food production, costume preparation, and rehearsal. Communities participated willingly, understanding shared effort strengthened identity. Social expectations shaped behavior strongly, yet mutual support softened enforcement. Neighbors assisted one another during illness, hardship, or loss, reinforcing bonds beyond family. Medical knowledge combined herbal remedies, ritual practice, and observation, creating practical approaches to health. Healers held respected positions, balancing science, belief, and compassion. Food distribution during difficult periods demonstrated state responsibility. Granaries supported vulnerable households when harvests faltered. This system reduced desperation. Political authority became visible through consistency rather than constant display. Rulers earned respect by ensuring order, justice, and ritual continuity. Public works maintained employment and pride. Disputes resolved through courts prevented long-term resentment. Justice sought balance. Although hierarchy remained clear, cooperation shaped daily survival. Even enslaved individuals possessed rights protecting them from arbitrary harm. This complexity surprised later observers. Education continued informally through observation and correction. Mistakes became teaching moments. Public criticism aimed to guide rather than humiliate. Humor played its part by easing tension during discipline. Festivals provided release from routine. Music, dance, and costume transformed streets temporarily. Ordinary citizens became performers. Ritual drama reinforced mythology. Participation strengthened belonging. The cycle repeated annually, guiding expectation. Change occurred gradually rather than suddenly. Environmental awareness influenced decisions. Weather signs shaped planning. Respect for nature encouraged sustainability. Chinampas continued producing reliable harvests. Markets adjusted to demand. Urban life remained flexible. Even in crowded conditions, cooperation preserved stability. Aztec daily life therefore functioned as an interconnected system where home, market, temple, and school reinforced one another through shared values rather than constant force. This balance allowed creativity, humor, and resilience to thrive alongside strict expectations. When dawn eventually returned, routines resumed seamlessly, proving that strength lay not in spectacle, but in repetition carried out with care. Through these ordinary moments repeated across thousands of households, the Aztec world sustained itself, revealing that great civilizations are built as much from daily choices as from monumental temples or famous battles.